Okay, let's look at file carving manually. We're going to use the Linux terminal. We're going to use Grep, we're going to use DD, XXD, and BC. Now, there are some very sophisticated tools out on the marketplace that you can buy that will do file carving much better and much faster than we can. But for the sake of learning about file carving, let's do it by hand. Now you can see I have 3 files here. I got our file carve plan, which is in the bottom pane over here. And that's going to walk us through the steps of what we need to do. Now, what we have also is a good image. So image.jpg, and this is an image that works, that is fine. And then we've got some blah text, which is just some nonsense data that we're going to use to create a bad file on which we can practice file carving. So the first thing we need to do is make that bad file. We're going to take that blah text, we're going to append it to a bad file. .jpg. This is important that we know what kind of file that we're looking for. So let's keep that file extension. Then we're going to put the image in the middle. And let's put that blah right at the end. So now we've got a bad file sandwich. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to figure out what we're looking for in this bad file. So we need to find file signatures. Now if you go to Google, you can just type in magic files or file signatures, and you will find this page here, which is called garykessler.net, and it is full of a bunch of file signatures for different file types. Now what we're looking for is JPG, so we found that here. And you can see here, we've got 2 bytes that signify the beginning of a JPG file. And that's going to be FFD8. Now it's important to note that these 2 characters, that makes up 1 single byte. So we got 1 byte and we got 2 bytes. Okay, that's going to come in handy later. Now we know the end of the file, the trailer, is going to be FFD9. That's what we're looking for when the file ends. So let's use our friend grep. Actually, first off, let's make a hex dump of the file first before we get to grep. So let's go to XXD, and we're going to use our bad file. Oops. We're going to add that to a bad file .hex. Okay, now we can use grep, and we're going to use the end flag. This is going to count the number of lines that are in the file. This is going to come in handy. Oops, and we actually need to put the pattern we're looking for. So let's start with the beginning, which is going to be FFD8. Let's see what we can find. All right, so we got a hit, and it is at line 1348. Okay, that's important, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bytes into line 1348. Okay, so that's important to know. All right, now let's look for our trailer. Let's just try this. Yes, okay, we got a hit there, and that's going to be at 2492, and it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 bytes in. So remember, we want to include the trailer when we are file carving. We don't want to file carve right before the end of the trailer. We want to include that trailer, okay? So it's going to be 4 bytes in. Okay, so now we need to calculate where in our bad file the actual bytes of the image are. And we can just do that using some simple calculation. So we're going to use echo. We're going to use 16. So 16, there's 16 bytes in each line of hex here. And we're going to multiply it by the line number, which we got from grep. Okay, in this case here, for our file header, we're going to use 1347 plus 5 bytes. And we're going to plug that into our basic calculator. Okay, we got a number there. Great. Now let's do it again for the trailer. Okay, and we're going to be 4 bytes in. We got a number there. All right, now we also need to determine the file size, and we can do that simply by subtracting the trailer from the header. So we go echo 39876 minus 21557. Plug it into basic calculator. Okay, that is our file size. We know our file size now. Now we can go to DD and we can start carving. So we're going to go DD. We're going to put our input file as our bad file, JPG, not our hex file. We're going to do our output file. We're going to put extracted file.jpg. We're going to put our byte size as 1 byte. We're going to put skip. Skip is going to tell us where to start file carving, so that's got to be our file header. So that's going to be our 21557. And we're going to go to count, which is going to be our file length. That's going to tell us how many bytes we need to carve, our count. So 18319. And let's give that a go. Let's try it out. Let's quickly check our MD5 sums. If our MD5 sums match with our original and with our extracted file, we know we've done it correctly. Okay, so in this case, they do not match. So something has gone wrong. Let's check out what has gone wrong. Let's look at the XXD of our extracted file. We'll just look at the head of it to make sure we got our file headers correctly. Okay, FFD8, that looks good. We started it correctly. Let's check out our tail or our file trailer. Okay, I can see we got something wrong here, so I must have done my math a little bit wrong here. We got our FFD9 one line up. It looks like I forgot to subtract a line from the top of our math. So let's just go here. It should be 2491 plus 4. Let's try that out. And we're going to, again, do all that math again. Go back to our DD. We're going to just change our count here because our start was right. We just took a little bit too much at the top there, at the bottom. Now let's check it again, MD5 sums. All right, now you can tell we have got the correct MD5 sums. It means we now have a match on our carved file with our original image that we were expecting. So let's just double check it. Does it open? Yes, it does. All right, we have got a cute puppy dog, and you can see that's our extracted file there. If we look at our original image, image.jpg, again, puppy dog looks all good. And this is probably our hex file, our bad file. Yes, nice. And that is how you file carve manually.